Well, hello, and welcome to the 1% Better podcast with your host, Josh Williams. So happy to be here today for episode 9. Almost made it to a whole double digits. And it's been a little bit since I last did my last episode. So just been getting over some sickness with the family and wanted to make sure my voice is sultry sweet for you all and wasn't coughing up a lung. So here we are today talking about an episode. I'm really excited to talk about this understanding of different types of training and how they work together, but also how there is one training modality that is the king of all training modalities, and it is based off of research. And yes, it just happens to be my favorite way of training, but I try to also be unbiased in that. And what I'm talking about is a lot of times people will say, I am being active, or I live an active lifestyle. And that is wonderful. And understand training comes out of this way of, it is super easy to be sedentary. It is super easy to not have to go through life right now with physical challenges from a sense of having to do labor. Now we can, of course, have physical challenges due to injuries, aging, how our bodies are used in different ways, whether it's because we are active or we're inactive. They all add up wear and tear and mileage on this wonderful thing that we have, a body. And so we need to understand that there is a difference between just being active and training and the benefits that we get from that. So this is to say that being active is better than being inactive from not just a physical health standpoint, giving yourself the best chance for longevity and quality of health. It is also, when we go back to quality of life, from a mental standpoint, from a social standpoint, being active is going to be huge in that. And so that's where the first category is what we call NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is living life. This is daily activity. This is getting up and down, moving around, washing the dishes, walking, doing light chores that may subtly, that's not a word, subtly elevate your heart rate. So this is daily tasks in life. We want to do as much NEAT as possible. NEAT is actually really valuable and beneficial. So it boosts, again, overall caloric burn. So if you're looking for weight management, getting lots of NEAT in your life is going to be beneficial. Getting out for walks, movement, that's why I was like moving around, is huge. It's really good for weight management. It is great for recovery from workouts, but also circulation. It gets the blood moving and flowing as well and keeps the joints loose and blood flowing. And then, combats, sedentary risks. So as well. And overall, it is pretty easy to do, low barrier of entry, though you have to carve out time to do it. That is excellent. When I'm meeting with somebody new, I love to hear that there is somebody doing lots of NEAT. Of course, they do not explain that like that. They typically say, I go out for walks every day. I walk, X miles a week. I play pickleball or golf, this and that. This is all NEAT, extra activity, different hobbies people have. We always want that, and our training should actually support us to allow us to do more of those things to get outside. When it comes to training, we want NEAT. We want that as our base. That is, we call living life. I want to be able to do more of that easily. And then, so the second thing that we kind of talk a lot about, where people might be doing, and it's valuable as well, is cardiovascular activity or training. This is like running, jogging, biking, swimming, hiking. All those things are underneath the cardiovascular umbrella. And I would say this is fairly common for people coming in and working with us to doing, and it's extremely beneficial as well. And so why would you want to do this? There's two categories of it. There's aerobic and there's anaerobic. So aerobic is going to be like your steady state, meaning with oxygen. And so this is going to be things like walking, cycling, rowing, hiking, all those things. And the benefit is it strengthens the heart, it strengthens the lung, it enhances recovery and blood flow. It does also help, burn calories as well from weight management, and then also reduces stress. So it can calm the nervous system, again, boost mood, release endorphins, and then also it is directly linked to lowering risk of like chronic diseases as well. And so this is aerobic capacity. We want to work on that. We want to build that. And then we have our anaerobic. So this is not a must, but it is a good one. It's high intensity intervals, short sprints, short bursts. So why would this be important for us in training? Well, what it does is it increases power and conditioning. So building the body's ability to handle high effort, elevates, the metabolism post-workout. They call it EPOC, so that you burn more calories afterwards. Another big one, it improves glucose control. So that boosts insulin sensitivity and blood sugar regulation, which is really important. And so that's why working in a little bit of anaerobic is great. And the best part of it also is very time efficient. You don't need to do this for long periods of time. Like 5-10 minutes of high intensity is all you need to get some of these benefits. And so that is a great one. A lot of times though, this one kind of gets bastardized, and we do like this high intensity, low intensity thing where we think it's high intensity, but we do it for such a long period of time, it becomes actually more like a high level aerobic building. So, and then of course, the other thing, it builds mental grit and toughness, which building resilience can be really important in helping us get through other hard challenges in life. And that's one thing I love about training is it helps the mental side as well. And so again, if we're looking to improve our cardiovascular health in those categories, we're going to want to do more aerobic training if we want some of those benefits. And part of the point of all today is that one style of training, you can't get everything in, or can you? And then the other one that's pretty popular is going to be stretching mobility. So a lot of people say they need more of this. Either they're doing it in some level, maybe this is all you're doing. And again, stretching mobility is important. So it improves, joint range of motion, reduces risk of injury, improving tissue quality, and aids in recovery. So calming down the nervous system, and especially with things like breathing techniques, helps deregulate that. And so it can be very beneficial as well from a tissue quality, increasing range of motion, making certain things easier, getting to certain points. And again, if we're a little bit stiff, we might be needing that. But the king of all kings is going to be what we call strength training. This is what, of course, I am biased towards, but strength training is a beautiful thing. And why would you want to strength train? Well, for one, it builds and maintains muscle. As we start aging, we start losing muscle mass at a surprisingly alarming rate. Some of the research will say after age 30, most people lose between 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade, which is pretty astounding. Again, after the age of 30. So that means if we're 50, on the high end, we could have lost 16% muscle mass by the time we're 50. 20, almost a quarter of what we had by the time we're 60. It's astounding. And so by strength training, we can maintain, if not improve, our muscle mass. And this is critical for, your metabolism, your functionality and aging well. Another big one, it improves bone density. So if you've been to the doctor and you have, my goodness, osteoporosis or osteopenia, strength training is going to help that. Loading the bones appropriately is going to help that. Another great thing, it raises the resting metabolic rate. So again, muscle is active tissue. So the more you have of it, the more that you're going to burn calorically. Again, it also supports posture, balance, and joint stability. So with better posture, balance, and stability, it'll take strain off of the joints so they can last longer and you can use them more efficiently. And so we're not using patterns that aren't as efficient when it comes to things like that. And then of course it drives composition change. So it's one of the biggest drivers in that. The more lean muscle mass we have, the less body fat we have, the more toned our physique will look as well. And, the beautiful thing is we don't have all the time in the world. We may only have 2 to 3 hours a week to devote towards training. And so picking the type of training is going to be crucial to, our longevity in our life. And so there's so many, you're like, okay, I have my aerobic capacity I can work on. I want better lung capacity. I have my mobility I want to work on. I feel tight or stiff. I want to be more active and I want to be stronger. And the beautiful thing is knowing which one to pick. And I go back to, in the very beginning, I said there is one that is better than all the rest. And it is strength training. Strength training is by and far better than all the rest. And why is it? Is because it does a better job of supporting all the other modalities or benefits. So build and preserve lean muscle. Like I was going back to, by strength training, it's the only one that is going to actually build muscle and improve strength consistently. Again, when you start doing anything, you're going to feel a little bit stronger. Your nervous system's going to work a little bit better. But strength training itself is the only way to consistently, month after month, year after year, maintain and build strength. Also, it affects almost every other system in the body. So stronger muscles means better joint stability. It means better posture. It means better balance. And a lot of times this stiffness that we feel or lack of range of motion can be due because we're not strong enough, because we're not in the right position to do it, and we don't have the stability to get into it. And so what might feel like a mobility issue is actually a stability issue, or is actually a strength issue. And so strength helps that. And again, going back from a weight, it improves insulin sensitivity. So though it is not aerobic, it is anaerobic training in nature. And so you will get some of those benefits that you would get from anaerobic training as well. It has also the benefits of the EPOC that you get in the high intensity. So after working out, though you don't burn a lot of calories within a strength training session, your metabolism is boosted for the hours after that. Again, that pales in comparison to actually just the lean muscle tissue that you build over time, and then your metabolism increases exponentially. It prevents injuries and keeps you moving. So this is huge. Going back to NEAT, if I feel beat up, achy, tired, I'm going to move less. So the stronger I am, the more resilient I am, the more confident I am in moving and doing things, the more NEAT. And that just drives the system. And then, compounding benefits. So again, it makes everything easier. So if I want to go hiking, it's going to make it easier. If I want to go running or carry groceries or playing with grandkids or whatnot, strength will make all of that easier and make it more enjoyable and something that you're going to want to do. So that is why it is important to know what you are training for and the benefits of them. Again, there's so many things that we can be training for. And if we feel overwhelmed and we only have so many hours in a week, I'm always going to pick strength training. If I only have 2 hours a week to train, I'm picking strength training. If I have 1 hour a week, I'm picking strength training. If I have 3 hours a week, I'm probably still picking strength training. Now, if I have 4 or 5 hours a week, I'm going to start diversifying. I'm going to start probably working on my aerobic capacity a little bit more. I might start working on my mobility a little bit more. I might work on some power. But the goal is never to work out so I can work out more. The goal is so I can work out, so I can enjoy this life to the fullest and have the confidence to do what I want to do. And all of that shows up in that NEAT, the more I can do. And so, again, make sure you know what you're training for, the modality. I'm going to encourage you, if you only have 3 hours a week, strength train. If you have a couple more hours than that, awesome. Get out there, do some more biking, cycling, find something else. Again, the mobility side of things, you don't need a super long period of time with that, but you can work that into your workouts as well. So again, strength training is king. Do it. Don't be intimidated by it. If you're new to strength training, sounds intimidating to you, but you want the benefits of it, then that means you might want to think about working with a trained professional and coach. And that's what we do at Spurling Training System. Everybody is working with a trained coach who knows how to work with real human beings that want to feel better, move better, and also knows how to work around achy joints and injuries. So that's all I got today. Hope you found that insightful, interesting, helpful, and I look forward to talking to you all in the near future.